So the essence is if you want happiness, you don't suffer, as I often say, then you see you shouldn't harm to others, to other sentient beings, even insects, you know. Even when you go in the road or whatever, you don't walk, whatever, to not step over the ants, to not, this is nothing, this is like the, you know, I mean, that was just, you know, all things, I mean, sort of, even you see in the tiny insect, some dust, you know, there's huge ignorance, like darkness in the sky, not understand that their mind want happiness, don't want suffering. So if you touch them, they're scared, they move. You don't recognize that. Don't recognize even that. Oh, what terrible. There's no way they can communicate. Then that takes years to discover, to understand that they're suffering. Like the fish is suffering. Don't know. When you're hooked, it doesn't relate to yourself. Or you're causing harm to others, you don't relate to yourself. If somebody, you're a fish, and somebody you look for the worms to eat, but then caught, mouth, then you die. After they come out, well, then cut your body half. Even you are not completely dead. What a ignorance. Yes. So even somebody explain, can't understand, can't accept. If somebody is correct, it means it's correct. No karma to understand, so can't accept. And after his house, I went to the beach. So the one man who I came to ask, we went to Kasure, bring the Namgyalma mantra, carved to this size, and they put in the river from the bridge by holding ropes, you know, touching the water, the ocean, so it blessed the ocean, that then it purifies all the fish, any sentient being in the water, it purifies. It purifies the negative karma. Negative karma then purifies them, then they get higher birth, mid-dharma, achieving enlightenment. So we've been carrying this Namgyalma mantra, this big one, with the ropes on the holding. Then one person hold the one hand, hold mala, recite one mala, then pass to, because there are more people, so pass that to give the next person. Then this person hold the rope, then pass one mala, the manipema by the side. So this way everybody gets shared. Otherwise, if one person does a long time, then don't get much chance. So this happens. Then we also put the stupa, and also we have maybe Namgyalma mantra, a shorter one. To put the other mantra, Mituba mantra, or something, yeah. So anyway, so that incredible, the Namgyalma. So we, at the same time, I bless water, you know, if the mantras or what happens, then, you see, it bless water, then I bring the blessed water, pour in the ocean, so it blesses the whole ocean, it purifies all the animals, and I also, you see, next time then get higher birth and meet Dharma and achieve enlightenment. So the whole point is to be free from samsara. Otherwise, as long as you are in samsara, always suffering, you have to know, that you have to expect, you have to expect problems, and all of a sudden, until you are free, only solution, if you don't like suffering, then the solution is to be free from samsara. To be free from samsara, that's what you need to do. I was complaining, then, you don't know from what the suffering came, you don't know the remedy, the practice Dharma, then always like this, from beginning it's about the weapon like that, all the time talking suffering, still not finished well. So it goes like this for a number of years. So aims to be, but the effort is to be free from samsara, the effort to learn Dharma, to practice Dharma. Then you have to overcome delusion. The same thought in the karma, you have to overcome that, you have to see that. So they realize, actually, the phenomenal truth, that's how it starts. That's what you think. And then, of course, when sentiment is very. So anyway, what I say, so then is it dedicated Katore, sorry, to this battle happened something else because of how I started. So the longest, the Chenrezig mantra I recite, that's the main one. So you see, now you see, please listen here. So by reciting this, if you recite this, if you go in the water, you will wash your legs. So you see, the water that touch your body, blessed. Because you visualize Chenrezig, recite mantra, visualize, so the water touch your body is blessed. So they touch any being, all the fish, then in the ocean, touch all the beings. And the people who play in the water, so can you imagine, numberless. So they're all, the heavy snakes all get purified. All the heavy snakes all get purified. And even whom the water touch, those sentient beings, they're numberless. So they actually they don't get rebirth in the womb, and egg rebirth, and heat rebirth. That doesn't happen. Like the lice, like the get reborn. So it doesn't happen. They get born in Pure Land. Amrita Pure Land like that. Born lotus in the Pure Land. So then you see, then goodbye suffering. Every day, daughter goodbye. So then you get born in Pure Land. You see, the Chenrezig mantra, such every day, Chenrezig mantra every day, then goodbye suffering. Yes, I can use that. Every day, goodbye doctor. So, the goodbye suffering, samsara. Oceans of suffering, samsara. So when you get more Pure Land, there is no suffering pain. There is no samsara pleasure, suffering change. Doesn't happen. Then there is no third suffering, progressive, compounded suffering. Chapa, Dujik, Dunga doesn't have. Where the truth the suffering doesn't have. You have to know that. Then after that you achieve enlightenment. Yeah. Yeah, so so if you don't watch the whole body in the ocean, just put your legs in the feet in the side of the ocean. Yeah, incredible benefit to the sentient being. Anyone whom the water touch, anyone numberless. So I didn't go in the water there afterwards, but Washington, yes. One day we went for picnic from afterwards. So there's Amita Pure Land where we go for retreats sometimes. So one day with the sangha, so we went for picnic. I don't know, some nearby, I think some time to drive, and then went picnic and went to the water. Put my feet in the water. Didn't get to go whole body, just feet in. Yeah. That's really amazing talk. Yeah. So. Yeah, then I pray, because due to all the past present, which are made it to collected by me, since I made it to collected by number Sentient being number Buddha, and then you see, yeah, there are different prayers, but I won't say everything, it will take time. So, one of the prayers is that, of course, all even sentient being general bodhichitta, one something all sentient being, then those general bodhichitta will increase more than that way, same. So you see, anybody who come to the beach, anybody who hears the beach, who sees the beach, all that, around the beach. So may to cause them to never be reborn, Lord. Again, you see. And I think may they be free from, probably, I don't know about free from Lord, of course. You see, to never be born, and then I think free from the physical and mental sufferings. What I don't remember about it, more or less than because all their wishes to succeed immediately, according to Holy Dharma. Not, that means no need karma, only when good karma, because of virtuous action, or whatever they do. So, one become only cause of happiness, doesn't cause it. Yeah, and then general bodhichitta, cause of enlightenment. To achieve enlightenment, it's quite possible. Things like that. Dedicate for the animals and for the people, and there's different prayers. So anyway, so there's our purpose of going to the beach was that.